Hello, good morning, or afternoon, or night. My name is Maria from the marketing department, and I'm here to welcome you to this webinar. Today, as you might know, we will be talking about how easy and fast and reliable the process can be with our product. We will be recording the session, but if you have any question, we are right here in the chat answering all of them. And at the end, we will share the video and also put it on our website. Right now, my colleague Lucia will start the session. She is a really great application specialist, and I know I'm leaving you in good hands. So, Lucia, the stage is yours whenever you want to begin.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Welcome to this webinar, where we'll talk about the pre-analytical part of Helicobacter pylori antigen kit. I'm going to share a presentation and start with a theoretical explanations, and then we'll do some practical part where you can see how easy it is to prepare this essay. So let's start sharing the presentation. And as Maria said, if you want to ask any question during the session, just write it in the chat and we will go through it. Okay, so this is the Helicobacter pylori antigen VirClia mono test. You may be familiarized with this VirClia mono test, and this structure is the same. The only difference that we can have, or that we have, is that instead of a calibrator, we are going to have a reaction control well. So we have the three reaction wells: the reaction control, the sample, and the negative control. In the reaction control, we find the purified antigen fixed in the bottom of this well, whereas in the sample and in the negative control wells, we find the monoclonal antibody. Then we have the reagent wells, that we have the conjugate, the diluent. The calibrator well in this case is empty, so we have one empty well, and then we have both substrates for the chemiluminescence reaction, which are the peroxides, the hydrogen peroxide, and the luminol. It's going to use 100 microliters of diluted samples, and these are the reactions that are going to take place in the different wells. So in the reaction control, as I mentioned, we have the antigen fixed, and it going to act as a positive control. So this antigen is going to be detected by the conjugate, and with the substrates will get the signal, the chemiluminescence signal that we will read. And then in the sample and in the negative control, we have our primary antibody. In the sample well, we'll find a sandwich clear. So this primary antibody is going to detect the antigen in the sample, and then this antigen is going to be detected as well by the conjugate, and we will receive the signal. In case of the negative control, we will only have the primary antibody, the monoclonal antibody, in the bottom of the well, and then will not detect any antigen and will not receive any signal. This is how the pre-analytical part is going to take place. So the steps are very easy, very fast. We just need to take the sample with a sponge swab. We have to dilute it in a tube with extraction solution, which we'll see later, but the tubes already come with the solution pre-dispensed. And then we have developed a filter with the tube that by only inserting that filter until the bottom, we'll get the sample filtrated and ready to analyze or to introduce in the analyzer. So there's no need of centrifugation. This makes the pre-analytical part very easy. Then here we have the materials that we need. Obviously, we need the VirClia mono test. which are the same format, the 24 VirClia monotest. Then, as for any other assay, we need the wash buffer and the decontamination solution. And as an extra thing, the only thing that we need are the extraction tubes, which is a kit that comes with 26 tubes already pre-dispensed with the extraction solution and 26 swabs with their filter to filtrate the samples. So in the VirClia monotest kit, we have 24 monotests, and in the tubes we have 26, just for any extra practice, or if something happened with a sample, we have 2 extra tubes. It's important to update the test files. So in this last pack methods, we'll find the Helicobacter pylori antigen test as an optional thing for laboratories where a big number of samples are going to be analyzed. We have developed a vial insertion device that we can see in this picture that is like a manual press that filtrates 10 tubes in the same time. So we'll see later in the video, but this makes things even easier. In the left part, we can see the extraction tube kits with the, as I said, the 26 tubes, the 26 swabs, and with the filters. I will show later also. And this is the vial insertion device. Also, I would like to mention that the base of the insertion device will be also available to acquire it separately. So for the same device, we have different bases for if we want to prepare, for example, 30 or 40 or 50 samples in the same place, same time, just place them, and then in 2 seconds, we'll get all the tubes filtrated. This is how the tube works. So we'll have the pre-dispensed solution already in the tube. We'll put our sample into it, and then we'll just have to introduce the plunger with the filter in the bottom, just all the way down to the bottom of the tube, and we'll get the sample filtrated. Now we'll get into detail how to do all this pre-analytical part. So the first step is to remove the cap of the VirClia extraction tube, and then depending on the type of the sample, if we have a solid or semi-solid sample, we'll have to use a swab. As I mentioned, it comes with the extraction tubes kit. And with this swab, we'll take approximately 0.2 grams of the sample. We are not going to weight it, but it's just to make sure that the swab is completely covered and that we take enough sample. So yeah, we take enough sample, and then we put this sample, we release it into the tube with the extraction solution. To make sure that all the sample is in the extraction solution, maybe we can use the walls of the tube to ensure it's released. And we can also vortex the sample if it's necessary. Then in case we have a liquid material, we'll just need to pipette 300 microliters of sample and put in the extraction tube and vortex. Then we just need to filter the sample. So we'll need to introduce the plunger with the filter all the way to the bottom. And we just check that over the filter, we have a clear solution without any visible solid particles. And all these solid particles will be under the filter. And for this step, as I mentioned, we can use the insertion device to do it by 10 tubes in the same time. Then we just need to remove the protective aluminum foam that is in the filter, and the sample will be ready to be introduced in VirClia Lotus or VirClia analyzers. It's important to note that in the VirClia Thunderbolt, we'll need to use the 16mm rack, sample rack, and place the tubes in alternating position, just because if we try to put them in continuous position, they won't fit. So there's inconvenient in doing this because all the 24 sample fit in the rack, but just important to remember. This is how the results report look like. So it's the same as the other VirClia test. In case of the validation rules, we have one for the reaction control that is similar to the calibrator ones that has to be between 2 and 7. So it's like a positive control. And then we have the negative control that has to be below 1.2. The concentration index is going to be calculated with the RLU of the sample divided by the negative control plus 1. And remember that it's going to be a qualitative assay, so we'll get positive, negative, or equivocal, and then we also get this concentration index. If the index is over 0.7, we'll have a positive sample. If it's below 0.56, it will be negative. And between 0.56 and 0.7 is going to be an equivocal sample that we'll need to retest or take another sample. For the storage conditions, we have the VirClia monotest. So as the other VirClia monotest has to be stored between 2 and 8 degrees. The same happens with the extraction tube. So has to be refrigerated at between 2 and 7 degrees. And then for the samples, if they're going to be analyzed in the following 72 hours or 3 days, we will also refrigerate them between 2 and 8 degrees. But if we are going to analyze them after those 72 hours, we'll need to freeze them. And we do not recommend more than 3 freeze-thaw cycles. In case of the extracted samples, so once we have filtered them, we can also store them. They are stable for 8 hours at room temperature. So maybe in a laboratory, they prefer to prepare all the samples in the morning and then analyze them in the evening or later. So they will be stable at room temperature. But then we want to store them more. Is the same as the stool samples. So if we are going to analyze them in the following 72 hours, we can keep them refrigerated in the same tube. And if we'll analyze them after those 72 hours, we'll need to freeze them, no more than 3 freeze-thaw cycles. And for freezing them, we can keep them in the same VirClia extraction tube, or we can transfer the supernatant to a new tube. Now we'll see a video where all this process can be visually seen, and then we'll move to the practical part. Okay, I can see that there are some questions in the chat. I'll read them quickly. How long the stool can store in the extraction tube? Okay, yeah, I mentioned it in the last slide. So yeah, it can be stored between 2 and 8 degrees up to 3 days, and then it can also be frozen. You'll also find the answer, the written answer there. Is the film on the pre-step available to show customers? Yeah, this last video is available. I can share it with you. Well, you'll find all this presentation, but also the video. I will write or share it with you later. So if there are no more questions, let's move to the practical part. I will also be seeing this chat during the practical part. So if you have any question or comments, just write them in the chat. Okay, so I've already put the lab coat and the gloves, which is important for any essay. And here I have some, this is the extraction tube kit. So it comes with the 26 tubes, the swabs, and then we have the filters. So these are the tubes with the already pre-dispensed solution, extraction solution. And here we have like the plunger with the filter that comes with an aluminum that we'll have to remove. So the first step is to remove the cap, and then I will do it also with a sample, but just so you can see it first, you just have to introduce the filter into all the way down, and the sample will be fluid. Let's get a zoom, and then we'll need to remove this aluminum. Let's do another one so you can see it closer. This is the tube with the dispensed solution. It's 3 milliliters dispensed. This is the plunger. It has the filter here in the bottom, and we just introduce it all the way down. Okay. So let's do it with your sample. I'm going to check that in 1 second. All right. Okay, so for the sample, in this case, it is a solid sample, but for liquid samples, we'll just need to pipette 300 microliters of it and introduce it in the same tube with the extraction solution, vortex, and then we'll calculate it. So here we have our tube. We have our sample. So we have to take enough samples so all the swab is completely covered, and then let's show in the camera. We make sure that all the sample is registered. Okay, so now the sample is in the extraction solution, and then we'll introduce the filter to the bottom. I'm doing it slowly. It's very easy to introduce it. And then over the filter, we'll find a clear solution that the instrument can pipette it directly from here. Okay, I'm going to do another one, so you can see it better. So we take the sample. This swab is a sponge swab, so it's easier to get the sample. We release all the sample here. And we filtrate. Okay, so all the solid particles will be under the filter in the bottom of the tube. Okay, so if there are no questions, or maybe if you want to need to repeat another one, I can do it. Just write it on the chat. So now we'll go to our analyzer. Let's start with VirClia Lotus. So we will need to place our tubes in the sample butter. We will remove the aluminum foam. And the analyzer is going to pipette the sample directly from here. So there's no need of removing the filter. Then if we have a barcode, it will be red. In this case, I don't have any, but we just need to write the number of our sample. Sample 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have to select the definition of the tube. In this case, it's going to be the 75 times 11. So there's no need of configuring a new tube. It's this one, 75, 11. So we'll select our tube. And then we have to select the Helicobacter pylori antigen test, which is in the new method pack already available in our site. So we will only need to select it and then start the assay. Now in the case of the VirClia Thunderbolt, as I mentioned, we have to use the 60mm rack. So it's this one, which has the holes a bit bigger. And we have to place our tubes in alternating positions. So here one, then we'll leave an empty space and put the other one, and the same in this side. Okay, so the 24 sample fits here, so there's no any inconvenience. And in the same way as any other assay, we'll have to add the samples. So place them in alternating positions. And then here we have to select our test, which is called Ag VirClia. So we'll click them. And then what we're missing is the VirClia test. which is this VirClia kit. We'll have to take our strips and place them in the same way as any other essay. So this is the kit. I forgot to mention that both the extraction tubes and the monotest are CE and IVDR marked. So for Lotus and also VirClia Thunderbolt, we just need to place our strips. And the VirClia Lotus, for example, let's do it here. We'll place them. And we'll be ready to start our essay. I see some questions. No, there's no any problem of splashing because of the aluminum form. So when filtering, as we have this aluminum, there is no way that it's going to splash, and that's why we have this aluminum. And then we have to remove, and the analyzer will be the pipetting the sample from this column set. Okay, do you have any questions, or do you want me to repeat any step? I guess we're going to wait a bit in case there are any questions. Okay, so if we don't have any questions, we'll finish the webinar here. I hope it's a bit useful, and you'll find the recording in the website in the following days. And if any questions rise in the future, just write us and we'll answer them. So thank you for coming. Okay, we have a question. When do you remove the aluminum, 2 by 2 or altogether at the end? That depends on the. Okay, now we have the process. It depends on the laboratory. We recommend removing all of them in the analyzer, just to avoid any errors or whatever. But we can also remove the aluminum one by one. Is there any chance of carrying over stool serum? No, there is no chance. We have carried several studies running together serum stool samples, and there is no contamination or carryover in between them. So this assay can be run together with all our panel of serum VirClia tests. Let's wait a bit. Finish your presentation. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to wait 3 minutes in case any question raised. If you don't have any question, you can leave now. But we'll be here for 3 minutes just to answer some questions. Thank you for coming. Okay, we can see another question. Are positive results an indication of an active infection or not? Yes, as we are detecting the antigen, we detect an active infection. We also have the IgA and IgG serum test, so for post-infections, but this one of the antigen is indicating an active infection. Okay, there are some more questions. Any special recommend about maintenance? No, just store all the kits in the properly, refrigerating and or freezing them. And about the instrument is just we just need to keep all these daily, weekly, and monthly maintenance as always. Any validation data compared to biopsy method? I think we don't have any. We have compared our data with other CLIA assays, but not with biopsy. How false positive occurs the extraction process is that? No, we just need to make sure that we take enough sample, and when we take, if the swab is covered of sample, then we won't get any false positive or false negative sample. So no, it's very easy, this extraction process. There's no way of of getting false positive because of this. The use of PPI drugs can affect the results. They have been analyzed, and in the insert of the product, we get all these minimum concentration that can be used. What if the sample contains blood? It won't be an inconvenience because we will filter it in the same way. So over the filter, we'll get the clear solution, and the antigen of the feces will be detected in the same way. May you repeat why we will need to upload the tube in the machine expression sample to another tube? Sorry, in which machine? In the VirClia Thunderbolt? We just need to introduce the tube in alternating position, and then there's no need of selecting any tube definitions. The Thunderbolt will aspirate them from the middle, and yeah. So just place the tube in the rack and select the assay. That you can choose between using VirClia Lotus or Thunderbolt. We don't need to use both. Just explain both. Okay, so if there are no more questions, we'll finish the webinar here. Thank you all for coming, and see you in the next webinar. Thank you. Have a nice day.